Founded 43 years ago, Eastern Boats makes 21 different fiberglass fishing and cruising boats, from an 18-foot center console to a 27-foot cabin cruiser. The brand has a strong reputation in New England for being rugged, seaworthy, affordable to buy, and economical to operate. Because Eastern boats are less expensive than most boats in class, we wanted to see exactly how they're made and find out the owner's philosophy. Join us as we learn about the man behind Eastern Boats and how they build semi-custom boats. Hi, Captain Greg for Boat Test. I'm here with Greg Hopkins.
What's up, Greg?
From Eastern Boat Works up in Milton, New Hampshire. We're going to take a look at the build process that Eastern goes through. Greg, why don't you start? This is the beginning of it right here.
Pretty much. This is where it all starts. So we're in the break room of our glass shop, but this is where we hold all of our information. And the team in the glass shop will come here and find out what it is they have to build. One of my supervisors up here, Dave Reynolds, will put the list of what we're doing for each day. We have a system that is built on information for them to refer back to so that they know what they're supposed to build. Up top, we have all of our builders. Each one of our builders here is a master boat builder, and they have at least 10 years experience in building boats to have that kind of title or knowledge or responsibility to build a boat. Underneath each one of these people is the boats that they are building. All of these are customer orders. So if Dave Reynolds comes in and on the board says on Monday we're going to build an Eastern 24 for this hull, 24219, we'll grab the list off, and we know that Tom builds 27s. Will builds 248s and other Easterns. Chris builds Sisus. Keith will build Rossboroughs and Seaways. John helps with Rossboroughs and Seaways. Natasha builds Seaways. But we also have a simple little checkbox informational sheet that when our supervisors, Seth and Andrew, are spraying or laying up a part, building a part, they check and mill gauge each part. They also inspect each part. We write down what gel coat batch it was, what date it was sprayed, when that gel coat batch or what lot it was from, so that we always have a record just in case any of our suppliers ever come back and say, there was something wrong with that batch and you should recall it, or whatever the case may be. We have a system here that is called I-Go and No-Go. I-Go stands for in good order. No-Go stands for not in good order. And on these sheets, you will find those letters up top. That process is tasked by my operations manager, Mark Lavasser, and Karen Pearson, who is our customer service and who does our final inspections, that they get all of this paperwork and they stamp that boat in good order, ready to leave.
We started out our tour of the Eastern plant in a building where the bulb molds are stored. Why don't we take a walk around the yard and you can tell me a little bit about your philosophy, about Eastern Boat Works. Tell me a little bit about the history and heritage of Eastern Boats.
Yeah, so Eastern Boats was originated back in 1981. It started out with an 18. They since grew, obviously, to a pretty big operation. Robert Bordeaux was the previous owner that I bought the business from, and he really took this thing and took it running, and I believe he became owner of this business in 1993. And then he sold to me in 2019.
What got you interested in actually buying a boat business?
I've always been a water guy. I've always liked to fish. I grew up in Connecticut on the Connecticut River, and my friends and I always used to go fishing for catfish, and that really got my interest. We moved up here, my wife and I moved up here in 2008. Bob Bordeaux and I, the previous owner, became friends. Cheryl, who's my CFO and was then, we became friends, and one thing that led to another, and one day he jokingly said, hey Greg, you want to buy it? I laughed, left, thinking, man, maybe I do. A year or two went by, and in 2019 in the spring, he asked me again, and that time I said yes.
So you've been here for a few years now.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your vision for Eastern Boats, where you want to take it.
Yeah, so I don't think it's too much different than what they've done in the past. I think it's more of maybe standing up on top of the mountain and yelling a little bit louder, using social media like BoatTest and other avenues to promote what a great brand this has already been the last 43 plus years. So I think it's really trying to reach out to maybe younger boat owners to let them know who we are and what our value is to them as a custom handmade boat in the United States.
as we walk around, why don't you tell us about a couple of things? What do we have here?
Yeah, so we've got a few different molds that are in this shop. We've got liners. We have a V-berth liner. We have a rear liner for our 27. These liners are stored in here to stay out of the weather. They are brought over to our prep shop, which is right outside this building, and then they're circled around this yard into our fiberglass or lamination shop. So they start here. Anything you see orange is a bare mold.
I've been here most of the day and I've realized that it's like friendships between people.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about your management style
Yeah.
and how you like to lead your team.
Yeah, so I try to empower my employees to give them the ability to make certain decisions on their own. They know certain things they need to come to me for, but I trust my guys and girls that work for me. They know what I'm looking for, and what I'm looking for is for them to put pride in everything that they do. And I think we have the staff now that is here that does take the extra step to make sure that everything they do is done with pride and that they're leaving at the end of the day proud of the work that they've done.
I'd like to switch and talk a little bit more about the technical aspects of what you do here at
Sure.
Eastern Boats. First of all, tell us where we are now.
Yeah, so we're in the mold prep shop. This is where every mold that is going to go to the fiberglass shop to get gel coat and lamination will get prepped here first. It gets treated, cleaned, waxed, released, sealant, whatever it needs at that point. The crew here, Mike and Derek, do a really good job of being very meticulous and detail orientated. We log everything on our computer in a spreadsheet so that we know every mold that comes through here, what steps they took and when they took it, so that they know when's the next time to take the proper steps.
Greg, tell me a little bit about your philosophy for manufacturing, your approach to shop floor. What is it kind of at the heart that makes Eastern Boats work?
Well, I think it all starts with professionalism and cleanliness and taking care of your area and your tools and making sure, because I think those kinds of habits carry over into your building of your parts, and so we stress that. We stress, keep your floor clean, keep your work area clean, watch your tools, make sure they're maintained. Those habits are built, build the foundation for you switching over to your habits of the daily day's grind of building a boat. So if we can train them to do those kinds of things, I think we come out with a better boat.
As we think about the manufacturing process, what is it that really sets Eastern Boats apart from some of your competitors?
Yeah, I think it's the personal touch. It's the interaction with our customers. They're allowed to come here in the shop, touch, feel, see their boat. They're allowed to meet the people that are actually building the boats, and having that open door policy for everybody to enjoy that experience and learn that experience. And I think that's what sets us apart from everybody else, plus the options that we have. I mean, we're truly open to just about everything, above that waterline, above the deck. It's tough to make it different every time and do something different every time. It's never the same cookie cutter boat. It's always different. And that is a challenge, but it's one that we're willing to accept because we know that's who we are.
After the molds have been prepped, they are rolled on a dolly into the laminating building. Here we see a hull being laid up by hand just as Eastern has always done. All hulls, decks, superstructures, liners, hatches, and stringers are hand laid. We were happy to learn that Eastern uses 2 layers of vinyl ester resin as a skin coat rather than just one as many builders do. Vinyl ester is expensive, but it is what stops hydrostatic osmosis. Each part, including the hull, is rolled out by hand, ensuring that there are no voids in the chines, strakes, or corners that sometimes happen with vacuum-infused hulls. Eastern uses Penske board in its transoms to be able to take the weight and torque produced by high horsepower outboard engines, and it is considered a best practice material. No wood is used in Eastern Boats. You are looking at 2 of the most robust stringers I have ever seen in a boat under 60 feet. Stringers are usually hat sections filled with foam, but here what we see is a hat section with a channel down the crown of the hat for wire runs, thereby making what amounts to an I-beam. I came away from the mold shop with the opinion that their hulls, stringers, and decks are rugged and built to last, keeping true to Eastern's roots of building commercial boats for fishermen. So why don't you tell us where we are now?
So we're up in our second build shop. Up here we do Seaway and Rossboro, USA. We also have an Eastern and a Sisu build shop So we try to separate them that way. When the parts come out of our lamination process, they can go to a designated area and that builder knows that that's his stuff. And then it helps our crew kind of differentiate from where things are supposed to be and who to talk to.
Yeah, we're starting to see a boat come together. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this model?
So this is our Seaway 24 hardtop. It's very much a utilitarian style boat. It's pretty basic. It's one of our more popular rides. It's a well-known name, and there's a lot of hand building going on in this. It takes some time, meticulous, right? And that's John, one of our builders.
So we're in the next step of the build process. Tell me where we are and about this model behind us.
Yeah, so this is our 248. This is an Islander, 248 Islander. This is more of our wine and cheese cruiser. We will be soon bringing this down to the rig or the completion shop that you've seen down before. That is the last step before it'll get to a customer. This is where all the furniture, the top deck, the liner, everything below the deck is all assembled, and she'll be headed out down to her final stages real soon.
Which brings me to the point of, you guys are factory direct. You don't have a dealer network, correct?
Right. Correct.
What are some of the benefits that you think that has for your customers as well as for Eastern?
I think there's both positives and negatives of that. You know, dealers are great, and we've had dealer networks in the past. I think in order to be a dealer network, we would have to be able to supply more boats, which would mean we would lose some of who we are. Being that semi-custom takes time, and you can't necessarily pump out the boats that the dealer needs. What differentiates us and separates us is really just the aspect that you can come here and put your own touch into it. That's not happening a lot. A lot of people are trying to manufacture more, do more, and they're not lacking quality. They're just the same over and over. And you know, that's fine. That's a great business model to have. It's just not who we are. It's not who we are intended to be.
Greg, tell me a little bit about the price point that you have versus your competition and your philosophy there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the philosophy with Eastern Boats has always been, and always will be, I hope, is we just want to build boats. We're not here to make, you know, $1 million off of one boat. We're here to be here for the next 43 years. You know, this company's been around for 43 good solid years. So our price points really, we want to feed that affordable boat. We want to be that guy that we're not too far out of reach. You know, some of these boats the prices are getting just ridiculous. I would rather build 2 boats instead of making one with a huge margin. So we are able to work with our customers to see how, you know, what's in your budget? You know, that's one of the first questions we ask is, what are you looking to do? What are you looking to accomplish? How much can you spend? You know, let's be realistic. That's what it comes down to. And then we work with people. And because we're factory direct, because you're talking to the owner every day, I'm always here, we're able to work out a deal to get you in the boat that you've always dreamed of.
Greg, I'd like to congratulate you on having a great business.
Awesome, thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for your time today.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
For Boat Test, I'm Captain Greg, reminding you life is better on a boat.